The imagery in lines 65 to 66 suggests that blank. Let's take a look at those lines, 65 through 66. Um, Starting here, or will they crumble like the unused buildings that are no longer maintained? Let's read a little bit before and after. Will these bonds be forged as easily with online as they are in person? Many futurists believe in the future the huge buildings that we associate with universities and buildings will be obsolete. Um, so what is they referring back to? They is referring back to these bonds that are reforged, and where these bonds, uh, many relationships, both platonic and romantic. So it's suggesting that they, or rather these relationships, may crumble like the unused buildings that will no longer be maintained. So the implication is that without these kind of traditional social constructs, buildings, universities, workplaces, things like that, can we like maintain relationships, or at least relationship norms that we're familiar with now, or will they become outdated or change dramatically? Will they crumble like the unused buildings that are no longer maintained? So looking at these responses, friendships and marriage will cease to exist without our building-based culture. That's kind of odd to say. And again, it's a little extreme. Whenever you see an extreme kind of opinion, it's usually not the best answer. You should be suspicious of those kind of questions. Buildings for school and work will eventually be obsolete. It's suggesting that sort of elsewhere that it might be that way, but not what that specific line is talking about. The only way to maintain alumni giving to universities is to maintain the physical structures of those universities. They talk about that later on. Will alumni giving suffer? But that's later on, not what we're talking about in lines 65 through 66. Current social norms are in many ways dependent on the physical structures around which our lives are built. Makes sense with what we're talking about. Let's just check with E. People will be better off once the outdated system of physical presence for school and work is eliminated. Now, this paragraph that we're in, paragraph 5, is all about the downsides of, say, virtual learning or, telecommuting and things like that. So it would make sense to claim in that sentence specifically that people would be better off without physical schools and workplaces. So we're left with D, which correctly shows how current social norms may be dependent on the way that we live our lives right now, and may be endangered. Not that they'll be destroyed completely, but they will at least be endangered or shaken up a bit. All right, answer D is correct. Let's move on.